Welcome to the Success Center community and an evening presentation of Colleges for You Too, one Black neurodivergent adult's journey to and through higher education. We are thrilled to be spending this evening with you. My name is Sandra Fischler, and I'm the director of the Success Center located in the San Francisco Bay Area. Before we begin, we have a few technical guidelines to follow. All attendees are muted, but we want to encourage you to ask questions. So please identify where the Q&A box is on your screen. Post any questions or comments that you have there, and we'll have some time at the end of Marc's presentation to go over that. Please know the person who's going to be monitoring that Q&A box is the person behind the curtain, and that is Chris Lenoir. He's handling our Blue Jeans technology. He's the director of the marketing and communications team for Landmark College. Thanks, Chris. It is my extreme pleasure to introduce Marc Thurman. Now, he wears many titles and wears many hats, and I'm going to try and get them all correct. He is the director of the Landmark College Centers for Diversity and Inclusion. He's the director of the Landmark College Roto program, which is the Reach One, Teach One program. And he just came in, he shared this with me, he just came in from basketball practice because he's also the head of the men's basketball team there at Landmark College. He is the chair of the education board of the NAACP of Windham County, and he is also the co-chair of the Equity and Inclusion Committee from Putney, Vermont. And not to be missed, and this is one of the most important roles that he has had, is he is a graduate 2018 of Landmark College. Let me turn it over to Marc now.
Hello, everybody. I'm going to share my screen very quickly. Thank you, Sandra, for the amazing introduction. Truly appreciate it. So yeah, just give me a second just to share my screen. Well, hello, everybody. I just want to thank you all for being here and allow me to be here with you. I'm really happy to be here, but I definitely want to just get right into it. I'm originally from New Jersey, Morristown, New Jersey, and I decided to come to Putney, Vermont in 2014. And one of those big steps for me of coming here, trying to find a college to go to. But I think the first step is believing that it was for me. And as you can see here, if you believe in your dreams, they can come true. And no matter the color or the gender, your dreams of going to college can be your reality. And in college, you can find purpose, or your purpose will find you. And growing and maturing is fun when you have an open mind. So with that being said, before I even decided to go to school, I think the coolest thing happened was my mom saying, when you're ready and you're really serious about going to college, come and connect with me, come find me. And middle school and high school was very difficult, being neurodivergent and trying to find a way to accept it. Like, I have a learning disability. What do I do with this? How do I even talk about it? So many questions are going in and out of my head, like, is college for me? And I grew up before my mother adopted me and my brother. Me and my brother were in foster care. So going through that and, always feeling like I was always like the new kid in school. So it was very difficult to even find, I think, love for education or even see myself going to college. I never was told that someone like me could go. So it took me a long time to believe that I could be someone to be able to go. And I think one thing that really, really pushed me is my mom, who's been great. Like I said before, just telling me when you're ready, come find me. And I remember the day that I was ready. I remember telling her I wanted to go to school, but I told her I'm neurodiverse, I have a learning disability, but I need to go somewhere that's going to really, really help me. And with that, I took steps on believing that college was for me, and I always like to always have like quotes and things just for myself. So I'm just sharing with you what really helped me, and you just have to believe in yourself that it's your time to win. And I got to a point where uh, I didn't want to be a statistic. I didn't want to be what I saw growing up, and I knew I wanted to be something great. I just didn't know what steps to take to get there. And one thing I always tell myself is, I know I can be what I want to be, but I must believe that I can, so I can be whatever I want to be. So, for all of you who are, stepping in and figuring it out and taking this leap on wanting to go to college or thinking about going to college, you being here right now takes courage to even be here and listening to me. You don't know me, but you're taking the time out of your day to connect with me. And I'm telling you, the first step is you believing that it is for you. And once you have that, I think that's when the engines start really going. As you can see, I like to show you what happens when you make the first step. And uh, sometimes you just have to realize all you need is community, family to believe in you. And one thing is I had to find my community. I had to find the right school for me. And I remember my mother coming downstairs with a packet from one of the schools that I was looking at. So I was looking at other schools, and my mother brought out a packet from Landmark College. And I was like, oh, my mom was like, remember this school? They came and connected with you. I think this may be a good place for you. It's in Vermont. And at that time, I remember my friends being like, Mark, you don't ski? What are you talking about? Vermont? What? So it was just very new, but I just wanted to go somewhere that I knew could connect to me mentally, and I knew that I could learn in the classroom and find success in the classroom. And at that time, I was very quiet. I didn't have a lot of friends, and so this was still new for me. But I knew I had to take this jump, and so I remember, uh, being packed and ready to go. I want to say as soon as I found out I was accepted, so I was really really excited. A lot of my friends were telling me that I was back home was telling me that I was crazy to go all the way to Vermont because I never been to Vermont. Coming from New Jersey and being able to take the train to the city was just a whole different lifestyle. So for me it was something new. It was something brand new, and I think uh, jumping into something and wanting to experience something brand new is extremely something that you want to experience. And I think going to college really helps you, uh, dive into that. Like, who am I? What am I? How do I find my purpose in life? Or what is it that I want to do? And I always believe that some of us are born knowing what we want to do, and some of us, it takes time to figure out what you want to do. And I know for me, being neurodiverse and trying to figure out everything and everything going really fast, it was like I need a place where I could process everything. And Landmark was definitely the right place for me. So I was ready for Vermont, and at least I thought I was. But there was things that I needed to learn to continue to be who you see today. Um, One thing that I would tell everybody, and I think one thing that I really did was I really fell into the community because when I came here, I was like, this is my shot. This is my shot to change the narrative. This is my shot to uh, just change the fact that I'm going to be who I want to be and who I want to become. And I knew it was going to be something special. I just knew I needed to go to school so that I can reach that goal that I had in mind. And for all of you, going to school, you got to first find the college you want to go to, and then get involved within that community. It's so important to get involved, get to know and understand the environment, the nature, the culture of college. I'm from New Jersey, never been to Vermont, not even Massachusetts. So this was all new. It was like, whoa, meeting new people, making new friends, and also being in an environment where there's not a lot of people of color. So that was new. It's like, all right, this is different. But what am I gonna do? And I decided to jump in because I was saying, I did not want to be what I was in high school. I didn't want to be what I was when I was in middle school. It's like I'm gonna change the narrative, and I think I was just basically telling myself it's okay to start over. And some of us starting over, starting new, starting fresh. It's allowing yourself to feel that anything is possible. And for me, it was really getting to know the Landmark College community. And one thing that I realized right away was, wow, this is the first place that understands exactly how I think. I have ADHD and dyslexia. So I was like, oh, this is great. I didn't have to explain myself. I can just be who I am. And that really gave me the opportunity to make, those next steps. And those next steps, those big steps forward, I have a quote here: to be successful at anything in life, you must jump and take a leap while being scared. You just got to do it. And as scary as it may sound, I wouldn't be able to sit here today and be able to connect with you all and say, oh, I'm the director of the Diversity Center, director of the Reach One Teach One program, head basketball coach here at Landmark College. In 2014, when I came to Landmark, I don't think I would have thought that this could be a possibility. But I'm so glad I took a chance. And that big step forward allowed me to find my community within community. So important that you put yourself out there so that you can find those right group of friends. You can find those right clubs. So when I came to Landmark, I joined student government. When I came to Landmark, I joined different clubs just to, make friends, connect to the community, see what this place was all about, understand Putney, Vermont was definitely different from New Jersey. There's no quick train or a taxi somewhere where I can go to the corner store and come back. It was a whole new experience. So it's trying to understand that and connect with people that understood the culture. And I think one big thing that really helped me was being able to come here and connect with the resident deans here, which was really a big help. And once I got here, I connected with an RD, a resident dean by the name of John Wood, and Miss Arnell, and Mama Wood, and and Mr. Stanley, who was at the time a counselor. And the reason why I mentioned getting involved, not only making friends and making sure you surround yourself around the right people, but it's important that you connect with those that see something in you that you don't see in yourself yet. And the most important thing is finding a mentor. And I was able to find mentors who was like, hey, you should be an RA, and let me help you make those steps on becoming a student leader here. And when I became an RA, I was like, well, this is great. I get a free room and board. I get a free room. Okay, a single. This is nice. And I didn't know what else was coming with that. But what was coming with that was me finding my purpose. And a lot of times I was taking a chance, joining a club. So if I didn't join SGA, if I didn't join the basketball team, I don't think I would have became an RA, because I met students who are already student leaders who introduced me to mentors on campus. So that can be anyone from your coach, a counselor, your advisor, or professor. It's important to connect with someone that believes in you on campus just as much as your parents do, or a family back home. And once those steps started happening, I think Marc Thurman started really becoming Marc Thurman. College is for you. The start of finding purpose is figuring out who you are and unleashing your superpower. And with me saying that, once I became an RA, I had a mentor at the college say to me, what do you want to do, Mark? I said, I want to change the world. And when I said that, she looked at me and said, let's just bring it all together. Let's just bring it all together. What do you want to do here? Why are you here? What else do you want to do? What else do you want to do? What else do you want to do to help people? And I knew I wanted to. I just was trying to figure out what that was. And at that moment, there was so much going on in the world. Ferguson, Trayvon Martin, Mike Brown, those things happen. You're in college, a lot of things change in the world. And I think we are giving the opportunities to find ourselves on these different platforms to speak up and to bring people together. I never thought that I'll be the person to step up and do something like that. But at that moment, I was like, oh, let's create a safe space, a center for students of color. And then from there, not only a safe space for students of color, but we want everybody to show up so that everybody can understand what's going on within the community, within our community, and how we feel and what we're going through. And not knowing that this was going to really start something. And these steps and these moves started happening because if we go back, it started with not being afraid to come all the way to Putney, Vermont, not being afraid to say, hey, college is for me, not being afraid to be in an environment where I didn't know anybody, but I knew I had to start getting to know the community, not being afraid to connect with new and making new friends so that I can connect and make and meet a mentor that believed in me. And I will tell you all this, all of you that are listening right now, don't allow fear to stop you from being something that makes this world keeps going round and round, something that makes things light up a room. And it's definitely you. You know, you wouldn't be here if you wasn't someone who lights up a room. You wouldn't be listening to me if you wasn't someone that wants to change. You wouldn't be connecting with me if you wasn't someone that sees themselves crossing that stage. And, you know, for me, that was it. I found a safe space. I found community, but it wasn't just about me. It was about everything else that followed up with that first move, that first step. And with those first moves and those first steps, it starts creating spaces and it starts creating opportunities not only for yourself, but for everybody else. And one thing that I was able to find at Landmark once I graduated with my associate's degree, I was like, well, I did all the student leadership. I got my AA, made my friends. Yeah, maybe, let me look at other schools to see if I want to get my BA somewhere else. And I think one of the most amazing things that ever happened is someone reminding you that who you are and what you are is so important, not only for yourself, but I think the connections that you're making. And when you go off to college and you find yourself and you find your purpose sometimes find you. So sometimes you don't even find your purpose. You're like, I don't even know what I want to do. But it's right in your face the whole time. And so as I was graduating with my AA, I had a student, now we're really still good friends, stop me and tell me that, hey, how are you gonna leave when you're a student leader and you created the Rise Up Center for us? Like, how are you gonna leave? And then when I looked at him, it was another student of color who found community, who felt a part of Landmark College, and wanted to graduate. And I had to sit back and say, wow, maybe, you know what? I should come back and get my BA. I never thought that that would be the next step for me if that student didn't stop me and say, hey, what are you doing? And what that hey was, you came too far. You can't just stop now. So I ended up coming back for my BA, and the Centers for Diversity and Inclusion started really, really growing. And with the growth of the Centers for Diversity and Inclusion, it really pushed me to finding what I wanted to do. And with finding what you want to do in life, it takes you understanding that the steps that you make are going to steer you in the right direction, especially when you're like, I want to graduate, I want to start my own business, I want to help people, I want to make my family proud. And for me, it was something that was just truly moving for me because it changed my whole perspective. And when I was graduating, when it came to my BA, it really helped me find what I wanted to do. And I knew right then and there, I remember calling my mother and telling her, I want to be a coordinator of diversity and inclusion. And one of my friends was there and was like, hey, I thought this was what you were going to do this whole time. Why were you doing all this going to all these meetings and doing these things. And I was like, oh, I just was involved with the community. I was a part of the campus, and it was something that really drove me. But now I know this is something I want to continue as a career. And I don't think I would have never gotten to this point, and if I didn't take that chance in 2014 and say, hey, I'm asking myself, is college for me? I'm asking myself, is this a possibility? And I'm so glad, even with the fear of being in an environment that was really new, being in an environment that was way colder than New Jersey, and the winters are definitely different. And being in a place where I couldn't just take an Uber and go to the store and come back, uh, it definitely helped me establish just a different way of connecting to a new environment and finding out new things about me. Like, I like bonfires. I like to go on a hike. If you asked me this back in 2014, I don't think I would have said that. But being out here, I definitely found new things that I do like to do. And I definitely made really, really great friends because of me taking that step. And I know being neurodiverse can be scary. It can be scary going to college and being in a new environment, having a roommate, making new friends. But honestly, it truly is the best thing that can ever happen to you. And I, like I said, I was in foster care. I have 5 brothers and 2 sisters. So when I graduated with my bachelor's degree, and when I'm looking in the crowd and I see them and they screaming and they shouting because I'm the first within the family to graduate, and I see the mother that adopted me and my brother, and she's smiling from ear to ear, that's what it's all about. And I think for all of us, that's what we wanted. So I know what it's like to be in the back of the club or the back of the room and no one sees you. But if you see yourself and you know you deserve to be in the front, and you know you deserve to walk across that stage, anything is possible. And I'm gonna keep saying it because I really had to tell myself that it was possible. And I think uh, the big thing that really helped me was surrounding myself around the right people, and the importance of allyship, the importance of making friends with different kind of people, different backgrounds, different cultures. It's important because it only allows us to continue to grow and continue to mature and continue to connect. And it really had me tap in and say, hey, college is for me. And to sit here and say that I have my associate's degree, my bachelor's degree, and I believe one day I'll be looking at wanting to get my master's. Uh, it's all because I took a chance. And I I always say to my CDI student leaders, as you see here, we're like the X-Men, and we have these superpowers, and all we got to do is tap in. And once we tap in, we unleash everything. And by unleashing everything, you're able to create something bigger than yourself. So like I said, when I came here and started and co-created the Rise Up Center, and now we have uh, the Stonewall Center, which is connected to the LGBTQ community, and then we have the Women and Gender Center that connects to the women identified students, and they connect to that community. The Palante Center that connects the Hispanic community, and then we have the Asian Community Club. Uh, when you see that, and then we have Forever Family that connects to a population of students that are adopted and were in foster care. When you see this domino effect, you start to look back and say, wow, I'm so glad I made that choice, because look at all these amazing people that are being able to be connected, be able to find themselves, and to be able to find that they too can see themselves walking across that stage the same way that I did. So I can talk to you all day, as my student leaders would say, Mark. You are a motivational speaker. We think this is what you really are. But I hope that you have tons of questions, because I'm here to answer them. But I hope that you were able to, take some key notes from my journey and my experience. And, hopefully, if you do have any questions or need to reach out, I'm here. I'm here to help you get across that stage, just like I did. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. That was so inspiring. Really appreciate you sharing your personal journey. We do have some questions here in the Q&A box, and the first one is, what has been the way in which you understood your learning disability worked for you, and how maybe it worked against you?
Uh, well, I think having ADHD, you're everywhere, and uh, it worked for me in a way where uh, I can't be stopped. You know, my ADHD gives me the superpower of I can do anything. And I think the part that kind of difficult is staying organized and being really on time. I need a 5 minute start, so I have to set my time back just so I can show up on time. So I think just really working with yourself and figuring out what works for you. But don't, one thing I learned is don't get upset with your learning disability, but sit with it. So I sit with mine. What do we have to do? How are we gonna get through this day? And sometimes you just gotta sit with it. And then once you sit with it, you start learning strategies to show up and be consistent and get the things that you need to get done.
There's a comment here, and I'll read it first. The comment says, love your advice to look at college as a new start and
Yes.
to reset and shape your own new narrative. Thanks for pointing out that it takes courage and vision. And you talked a lot about that, about bravery and needing to take a leap. I don't know if you want to make a response to that, but that was the comment.
Thank you for that comment. I think that comment just tells me that you're already in the room and searching and digging and you're seeing yourself. So continue doing that because once you do that, you can accomplish anything.
Next question is, Mark, you have a remarkable story, and thank you for sharing it with us. Did you receive the bachelor's degree at Landmark College?
Yes, I received my bachelor's degree at Landmark, and like I said, a big reason for me coming back is because of the community starts growing once you start taking that leap and once you start stepping up and wanting to be a part of change. Other people will remind you, hey, what you doing? What you doing. This is where you need to be, and sometimes you get reminded, and that's what really brought me back to get my BA. So that was a big accomplishment. My mother was like, whoa, when I told her I was coming back. She was like, what? I was like, oh, yeah. So that was big. The BA was for me. The AA was for my mom.
There you go. Have to have those goals, right?
Yep.
How has being a mentor yourself changed the way you approach things?
It changed because I think first I was okay with being a mentee. I was okay to learn from someone else. And I think in this day and time, when you're neurodivergent, everyone's always telling you what you're doing wrong. And sometimes when you get too much, and it's hard to have a mentor when you're neurodiverse sometimes because you're so told all the time what to do or you're doing something wrong. But I will tell you, have a mentor, connect with someone who's been through it already. Because one thing about us, once you give us a blueprint, once we see it, we're at our own blueprint on top of that blueprint, but we need someone to say it's a possibility. And once we hear that, once we know that it is, pew, like the Flash, we're going. So me being a mentor has been a great gift, and I learned that being a mentor is all about looking back and giving this out. So for me, coming from where I come from and growing up in the environments that I grew up in and having friends that, weren't able to have these opportunities and the steps that I was able to take really pushed me to want to give as much back as possible. And yeah, I hope that answers your question. So being a mentor has been a true honor. It's humbling every day.
And your advice about identifying those mentors was really well received. Yes, finding those mentors.
Oh, yeah.
Next question, and it actually starts off with a comment, and it has an exclamation point you should know. It says, hi, first off, your story is truly inspiring, exclamation point. Thank you for sharing. Can you talk about your transition into college life?
My transition into college life, I want to say I was ready for it and not ready for it at the same time. And I think that's when a mentor kind of came in and was like, hey, this is how you can do it. Because at first, if you're new at something, it's like having a bike with no training wheels. You're going to be all over the place trying to get balance. But there's nothing like having somebody in the front and the back saying, I got you. This is how you're going to get there. And for me, it took some time. It took my whole AA to really uh, connect well and understand what the college life was going to be like for Mark. Because sometimes we jump into it and this is a college life for everybody, but you got to kind of find what is the college life for you. And Landmark was the place I needed to be because it helped me find that. And yeah,
Folks really writing their own story, encouraging them to write
yeah,
their own story. Great advice.
yeah.
You talked about mentorship, and I know I've had the pleasure of hearing you speak in other situations, and I know it. I've heard you talk about allyship, and for
Mhm.
those looking to send a young person off to college, and how can an individual best be an ally, whether on campus or as a support at home or a support on campus? How can they best be an ally?
I think the most one thing I learned with having the diversity centers is how am I supportive of each community. And one thing that a lot of my students, and they will laugh when I say this, is I said I always sometimes walking in and not saying anything, but standing next to the person. Sometimes walking in and being a part of the community and just hearing and listening. And sometimes just being there is the first step of allyship. And with the diversity centers that we have here, with the connections that we have with our DEI committee, with the president, the vice president, the dean of students, it's all about how do we listen and how can we be supportive. And I think being supportive, first thing is just listen. And then once you listen, then someone's going to give you, just like if you're doing an art project, someone's going to give you the paint and someone's going to give you the brush and they're going to show you, hey, this is what we need to get worked on. And I think you have to be okay with not knowing what to do. You have to be okay with being quiet and you have to be okay with learning all over again. And for me, when I'm being an ally of the LGBTQ community, I'm not walking in saying I know anything. I'm walking in saying nothing and only how can I be supportive? Because I know what it's like to be pushed in the corner or be not seen or not heard. So it's very important to make those steps. And sometimes it can be hard to do that because you want to help so badly. But to be a good ally, those are the great first steps.
Thank you. Someone asked, you mentioned the names of several centers, and I know you're responsible for the Centers for Diversity and Inclusion. The individual was hoping maybe you could repeat what those are. And, I think it might be helpful too, Mark, if you wouldn't mind spending just a few minutes sort of identifying maybe some of the activities. And I know there's meetings that folks can attend. If you
Hmm.
could share a little bit about each of them, that would be great.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Which is really amazing. Like I said, sometimes you don't know what you're doing until you start doing it, and then everybody else will start telling you what you're doing, and that's CDI because of how we grown. So first we have the Rise Up Center, and before I talk about all the centers, we meet Monday through Friday from 8 to 10 p.m. So yes, from 8 to 10 p.m. the diversity centers are open, but each center has a main program day. And right now I'm just going to break down each of the centers. So the first center is, and I'm just picking them out right now. Well, Mondays is for Rise Up Center. So Rise Up Center main program day, and the Rise Up Center is the centers for students of color, African American students, Black students, Caribbean students, Haitian descent, Jamaican, uh, students that are African American or Black are a part of the Rise Up Center. So that's the community safe space. But that 8 to 10 slot is the time where we are educating, we are coming together, we're watching films, documentaries. We're talking about the civil rights movement and the difference from the civil rights movement and the Black Lives Matter movement. And those are some deep conversations, but I think it's magical when you can see a room full of people that come from many backgrounds are there listening, are there connecting. Next is the Women and Gender Center, which has really been something really big, especially this semester. And they meet on Tuesday nights. No, they meet on Wednesday nights from 8 to 10 p.m. And we just had a guest speaker come in and speak on just safety on campus for those that identify as female or woman, and just the importance of being safe on campus and things to look out for. We talked about the Title IX, how important Title IX is, and the history of Title IX. Along with that, and that's Wednesday nights, the Women and Gender Center from 8 to 10. Then we have the Palante Center, which connects to the Hispanic community, and we have, which is one of our newest centers, and to have just a Hispanic population of students here come together. But also, we're getting ready to celebrate the Day of the Dead, and that's a big turnout, and we have families coming together, making food and just showing us the right way of celebrating the holiday, and how the Day of the Dead is nothing like Halloween. It's not the same thing. So it's also really speaking on that. And that's on Tuesday nights, 8 to 10. And then we have Stonewall Thursdays from 8 to 10 that supports the LGBTQ community and trans students on campus. And that's been really a great safe space just for students to come and say, hey, I can be here. I'm safe here. We're able to talk. We just had a program on pronouns. We're about to have our Rocky Horror big event that's going down tomorrow night. So it's just programs. Stonewall Center is so important because I think it's so important that students are able to be who they are. And if you don't have these safe spaces, then how can you cross the stage and graduate, right? If I don't have a community that I can connect with. And then on Friday nights, we have the Asian Community Club, which goes from 8 to 10 p.m. And that's one of our other newest clubs that we are just starting to really start doing programs. We just had our ramen noodle program, which we told the history of ramen noodle. We made ramen noodle, and it was great just to hear the history. And I think students were telling stories from their grandparents and their culture and how they grew up, which was really great just to see the room packed for that, which was really amazing. And then we also have the Interfaith Center, which is for our religious and spiritual connection groups. So like Halal. And then we have students that are Catholic, students that are Jewish, students that are, some students that are different spiritual religions that just need a safe space where they can go and find community. And it's very important, especially, during these tough times. And Forever Family. So we also have Forever Family, which is a center for students that are either adopted or were in foster care. I don't think I'm missing any, but that's what we have. And
wow, that's impressive, Mark. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, and then the Reach One, Teach One program, which is a mentorship program for students of color. And big shout out to Sho, who's been a big help with helping me with the CDI and the Reach One, Teach One program. And we have about 20 students a part of the Roto program. And we started the Reach One, Teach One program in 2020, right after George Floyd. And it was, what are we doing to connect and mentor our students of color so that they too can find success in the classroom so that they can graduate. And right now, to be able to see the population of students of color wanting to come back, not only graduate with the AA, but come back for their BA has been really amazing. So, yeah.
Great ways for everyone to connect. And those are Landmark College campus.
Oh, yeah.
There's a question here about maybe the size of the classes. When you were attending classrooms there at
Mhm.
Landmark College, about how many people were in the classrooms with you? What are the class
Well,
sizes?
well, the good thing is being at a college that understands my neurodiverse brain, they understood everybody's. So small settings, small classrooms. I think the most I had in class was probably about 10 students, maybe 11. But that worked for me because I think it gave us the opportunity to really connect with the professor. Um, and that was something that I knew I needed. And for those that are going, if those that are here that are going to, bigger classrooms, bigger settings, don't be afraid. And I say that to my students here, and it's something I did as a student. I set up office hours. So even though the room was small, I may have missed some things. So I knew I had to go to office hours. I knew I had to go to DCAS, which was a tutoring center. I knew I had to study with a group of friends that knew more than I did, just so that I could catch up and learn what I needed. So it's and connecting with my advisor. So for us, we're gonna have to make all the connections. All the dots need to be checked because asking for help isn't a bad thing. It got me where I'm at today.
And I know we talked about the basketball team that you're the head coach of that. Aside from
Mhm.
basketball, I mean, have you got an idea of what maybe some of the other sports are on campus? There was a question if possibly you
Oh,
knew what the other sports were.
oh yes. We have soccer. We have I want to say cross country. And we have women's basketball, women's softball. We also have baseball, and that's all I know right now. I hope athletics don't get mad at me, Josh.
Thank you for that. There's a lot, and on the website, a lot more information on the
Oh
sports.
yeah, a lot more information. Rock climbing. There's so much, so much. Oh yeah,
Landmark.edu will have that
yes.
information as well.
Oh
One
yeah.
one last question then, Mark, to close out this incredible evening. Again, thank you for sharing so much, and this is such incredible advice for folks considering going off to college. What is it like being a person of color in a predominantly white institution?
So this is the way I'm. When I saw Barack Obama become president, for me that changed everything. And that's when I told myself I can make it in any environment, no matter what it is. And when I decided to come to Vermont, uh, there's going to be challenges. Just being a person of color is a challenge, and each day, there's another step that you have to make. But I didn't allow it to hold me back. I kind of just opened myself up and was like, "This is who I am." And once I kind of walked in and saying, "This is who I am," I allow myself to be I allow myself to walk in and feel like I'm Denzel Washington or I'm Will Smith. So some days are hard because you look around the room and you're looking for someone that may already get you, already connecting with you. But I will tell you that don't allow that to stop you from being who you are. Don't allow that to stop you from finding courage to graduating or joining a club because I didn't. I came here and was like, we need a Rise Up Center, and I'm at a predominantly white institution, but I knew it was important for the 4 or 5 students of color at the time. Now we have 20 plus students of color. So if Dr. King can do it, if Bill Russell can play for the Celtics, it kind of groomed me to be ready for it. And was it hard? Yes, but my mother told me something that was so great. She said, your grandmother had to walk college because she couldn't take the bus. And my grandmother was from West Virginia. So I keep that in the back of my head. I keep that, and that's what keeps me going. So don't be afraid of the environment. Right now, it's just showing up, being who you are, and unleashing every gift you have in you so that you can be at a predominantly white institution and there's a Rise Up Center or there's a space that represents who you are and what you are, and you're helping other kids. because now it's not just Rise Up. We named 6 to 7 safe spaces. So here we are.
Thank you, Mark.
Mm-hmm.
Those are all the questions that we have this evening. I want to thank you for joining the Success Center community this evening. A big thank you to Chris Lenoir for his technical support. Most importantly, thank you, Mark. Marc Thurman, you are an amazing individual. We appreciate you sharing your personal experience, sharing very sage advice, and your perspective on your journey through higher education is something I think all of us can connect with and take with us going forward. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here this evening. And Mark, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you. Bye.